Imagine yourself standing before a vast and empty field, where the silence is broken only by the whisper of the wind and the timid song of birds. It's a land that might seem ordinary to the inattentive eye, but there's something extraordinary about this soil. It was handpicked with a purpose as ancient as time itself. A vintner kneels there, his calloused hands tenderly caressing the earth with an almost paternal care. He isn't just preparing the field, he's preparing a future. This man, with serene eyes and a beard dusted by the years, holds in his hands seeds that seem insignificant. They are small, almost fragile, yet to him they are a treasure. He looks at them as if they carry a divine secret, something known only to him and the heavens. With care that borders on the sacred, he digs small holes in the ground, one by one, as though each spot were an altar for something holy. As he plants each seed, he leans in and whispers words no one else will hear. You were born for something greater. Grow with courage. One day the world will taste your sweetness. There's something in his act that transcends the work of a farmer. He isn't just cultivating vines, he's laying the foundation for a masterpiece. He understands what few others do. The value isn't in the seed's appearance but in the destiny it carries. He knows the soil is fertile but not perfect. Torrential rains will come, furious winds will blow, and relentless droughts will scorch the land. Even so, he trusts that these seeds hold within them the strength to endure and thrive. He believes the trials along the way are as essential as the sunlight. This story, however, isn't just about grapes or a vineyard. It's an allegory of what it means to exist. Like the vintner, there is a creator who saw you even before you were born. He didn't just see who you were but who you could become. He planted you in a specific soil, your family, your circumstances, your struggles, your talents. You were placed where you are with a purpose, even if the ground feels hard or the conditions seem unfair. In the Garden of Origin, the seeds of the grapes do not question why they are being buried. They aren't aware that to grow they must first be hidden in the darkness of the earth, deprived of light for a time. But the vintner knows. He understands that this temporary concealment is the beginning of a miracle. Trust in the process is essential, even when all seems lost, when transformation feels too slow or non-existent. He knows that the seed's greatest potential will only be revealed as they face what lies ahead. And what about you? Have you ever wondered why you were planted where you are? Sometimes the soil feels barren, the circumstances unfair, and growth impossible. But the vintner of your life sees beyond that. He sees the wine that can be drawn from your suffering, the sweetness that can emerge from your resilience. Just as in Eden, where God placed Adam and Eve in a carefully designed environment, your place too was prepared with intention. It is there that you are meant to learn, to grow, and to fulfill the purpose for which you were created. The first days in the vineyard are silent. The seeds, now covered by the earth, seem absent of life. Yet within each one, an invisible process is unfolding. The shells begin to break and roots start seeking water and sustenance. It's a silent, unseen struggle, but it's powerful. Beneath the soil, they cling to the vintner's promise. Similarly, in moments when you feel buried, suffocated, or alone, something is happening within you, preparing you for something greater. The true essence of purpose isn't found in the moment the seeds are planted or in the first leaves that sprout. It lies in the process, in patience, in waiting. The vintner doesn't return each morning to dig up the soil and check on the seeds. He trusts. He cares, yes, by watering, protecting, and observing, but he knows that time is an ally. The harvest will be glorious because it is built on perseverance and faith. Now imagine, what if the destiny of these seeds isn't merely to grow? What if their purpose is to produce the sweetest grapes, the kind that one day will become the finest wine? But for that, the process is far from over. The journey has only just begun, and each stage will bring challenges that will shape not only the fruit but also the story it tells. You, like these seeds, carry within you the potential for something extraordinary. But are you willing to go through the process? Do you trust the vintner who planted you? The grapes are still seeds today, but soon they will sprout. And then, when the time is right, their transformation will begin, revealing that even the humblest of beginnings can lead to the most glorious of destinies. And so, the garden awakens. The first leaves break through the soil, carrying with them the hope of an extraordinary future. You feel the first heat of summer as the seeds, now sprouts, face the relentless sun for the first time. The heat is almost unbearable, and the young leaves seem fragile in the intensity of the rays. However, it is in this heat that the roots begin to grow deeper, searching for moisture in the soil below. They know, instinctively, that the surface won't provide them enough sustenance for the journey. Thus begins the passage of the seasons. The sun is unforgiving, burning without respite, but the light that hurts also nourishes. It is the very same light that strengthens the branches and teaches the vines to endure. You, like these vines, feel exposed. There are moments when adversity seems endless, as if the weight of everything is greater than you can bear. The heat of life, the demands, the constant struggles, everything seems to want to consume you. But hidden within each ray of sun is a purpose. Just like the vines, your strength grows in the depth you reach during these moments. The heat isn't there to destroy but to prepare you. Then summer turns into autumn. The landscape shifts and the leaves begin to take on shades of gold and red. It's a time of transition, of maturing. The grapes grow in size, accumulating the sugars and flavors that will determine their value. What was once small and insignificant now begins to show signs of purpose. But autumn also brings cold winds, and the rains often come with force, challenging the vines to stand firm. At this stage you begin to realize something. The challenges don't cease, they only change form. The lesson of the grapes is clear. Each season brings with it a new trial but also a new lesson. Autumn teaches balance, the art of holding on to what you've gained while preparing for what's to come. It's the time to consolidate your essence, to transform experiences into wisdom, just as the grapes turn light and water into sweetness. And then winter comes. It's cruel. The once vibrant landscape now appears desolate, lifeless. The vines, which once carried leaves and fruit, are bare, stripped of all signs of life. It's the hardest season, the loneliest. The frost covers the branches and the storms are relentless. Feels like the end. And you, in the silence of your own winter, wonder if there's any value in what remains. Where is the promise? Where is the fruit? Why does everything feel so cold and meaningless? But it's at this moment that the miracle happens. It's in winter, when everything seems lost, that the vine grows the most. Invisible to the eye, the roots continue to expand, digging even deeper. This is the secret of winter. It's the time when silent preparation for blossoming occurs. So it is with you. In the most difficult seasons of your life, when everything seems to crumble, it's when you're being shaped in ways you can't yet comprehend. The cold nights, the losses, and the pain are not the end, they're the fertile ground for rebirth. Winter doesn't last forever. Like Job, who lost everything but remained faithful, you discover that there is a greater purpose in suffering. Like Joseph, who was betrayed, sold as a slave, and forgotten in prison, you realize that the hardships were a necessary path to something grand. Winter gives way to spring, and it's as if life bursts forth again. The vines awaken, and the green shoots herald a new beginning. Everything that seemed lost now returns with renewed strength. You feel it too. Spring comes to you in unexpected ways. A relief, an opportunity, a renewal of hope. The lesson the vine teaches is clear. There is no growth without patience, and there is no victory without struggle. Every season is essential, even those that seem impossible to endure. True transformation doesn't occur in the absence of challenges, but in the midst of them. The grapes, at the end of their cycle, wouldn't be sweet without the summer heat, nor firm without the autumn wind. They wouldn't have deep roots without the cold of winter, nor the vibrant freshness of spring without going through the wait. Such is life. Such is you. The seasons come and go, but if you accept the process, you'll discover that each one plays an indispensable role in your journey. You are not defined by the heat, the cold, or the wind, but by how you grow through each of them. Like the wine that will be made in the future, your essence is shaped by the patience that turns suffering into wisdom. What comes next? The vines look up to the sky and the cycle begins again. You look ahead, knowing that what's past was not in vain. The seasons have shaped you, just as they have shaped the grapes now preparing for the next step of their transformation. And so, the story continues. The grapes, in their fullness, hang suspended on the twisted branches of the vines. The cycle of the seasons has shaped them, and now they shine under the soft light of the evening, laden with sweetness and promise. But this is not the end of their journey. What lies ahead is not a celebration, but an act of transformation that will require every drop of their essence. You, like these grapes, have reached a point where mere maturity is no longer enough. The harvest begins. Strong, experienced hands pull the clusters from the vines, one by one, placing them in wooden baskets that exude the scent of the earth. The transition from the vine to the press marks the beginning of a process that is not only physical but deeply symbolic, the act of being crushed. When the grapes are poured into the press, they are still whole, preserved in their perfect form. But there is no wine without the crushing. The crusher, someone who understands this ancient process well, steps into the must with reverence and strength. Each step is deliberate, a calculated but relentless pressure. The skins break, the juice flows, and the aroma fills the air, a testimony to something new being born. You find yourself in the place of these grapes. The moment of being crushed is not easy, nor is it something you would have chosen for yourself. It is painful, challenging, sometimes even humiliating. You feel the weight of circumstances, the pressures that seem to crush your soul. But just like the grapes, it is in this process that your true essence begins to emerge. Remember Jesus, who, in the Garden of Gethsemane, sweated drops of blood under the weight of his mission. He was betrayed, wounded, and ultimately crucified. To those watching from afar, it seemed like the end. But in that suffering was the climax of his redemption. His divine essence flowing to bring life to the world. Just as the grapes must be crushed to release the must, Jesus had to endure suffering for humanity to know grace. In the press, the must begins to accumulate. It is not wine yet, it is a raw liquid full of potential. You realize that, in the midst of pain, something deeper is happening. The crushing is not punishment, it is transformation. It is in this act that the true value of the grapes is revealed. Their sweetness, their acidity, their complex aromas, all of this was hidden until the weight of the feat brought forth what they truly were. Similarly, the most difficult moments of your life have the potential to extract from you what would otherwise remain hidden. It is in suffering that you discover your strength, your compassion, your ability to love in deeper ways. Pain is not an end in itself, but a portal to something greater. The crusher continues their work. The must, now accumulated, is transferred to barrels, where it will begin the next stage of its journey. There is no rush. They understand that the value of the wine depends on patience and acceptance of the process. You, like this must, realize that suffering is not the end, it is just a phase. There is more to come, and each step has a purpose. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul writes, "We know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope." The crushing of the grapes produces a fruit that goes far beyond what they could offer in their natural form. Similarly, the trials of life are not meant to destroy you but to shape you into something more meaningful. Now, imagine what will happen to the must. Soon it will become wine. It will be served at celebrations, shared at tables around the world. Its journey, marked by pain and transformation, will result in joy and communion. But the wine carries more than just flavor, it carries the story of the grapes, the vines, and the press. It is a reminder that every moment of suffering can be transformed into something that nourishes and inspires. And you? What is being extracted from you at this moment? You may be in the press of life, feeling the weight of the crushing. But remember, it is in this place that your deepest essence is being revealed. The wine that will come from you will not only be for your benefit but will bring joy and transformation to those around you. The story of the grapes does not end in the press. The best is yet to come. And in your story, the suffering you face now is only the beginning of a masterpiece in the making. Wait, trust. Believe that the purpose is in the process, and the result will be something you never imagined possible. The must, now exuding the freshness of recent labor, is carefully transferred into wooden barrels. These barrels are old, marked by the stories of previous harvests. As the liquid comes into contact with the interior of the barrel, it seems to lose its initial strength. It settles quietly, almost motionless, surrounded by darkness and silence. There is no more agitation, no hurry. This marks the beginning of a new phase, the most mysterious of all, aging. You, like this must, may be in a moment of forced pause, where everything around you seems to have slowed down. After the heat of battles and the intensity of change, a period may arise that feels barren, even boring. But just like the barrel, time here is not empty, it is a laboratory. Inside the barrel, something extraordinary is happening. What was once a raw and unruly liquid begins to interact with the wood, absorbing its unique characteristics, gaining depth and complexity. It's a process invisible to the eyes, but absolutely transformative. Do you remember the journey of the people of Israel in the desert? 40 years wandering in an arid place, with no immediate signs of the promised land. 40 years when time seemed like an enemy, testing patience, faith, and endurance. But God knew they needed that time. They weren't just crossing the desert was crossing their souls, purifying, teaching, shaping. Just like the wine in the barrel, they were being prepared for something greater. In the barrel, time is the key element. It is neither rushed nor indulgent. It follows its rhythm, indifferent to the anxiety of the outside world. The must spends days, months, and years there, undergoing a process that is not always comfortable. Small chemical changes happen constantly, and what was once crude begins to become refined. Similarly, in life, time is the sculptor working in silence, smoothing edges, healing wounds, and shaping who you are destined to be. At the beginning of the process, the must may seem lost. It has a bitter, rough, even unpleasant taste. But the winemaker, with his experience and patience, knows the potential is there. He does not give up on the wine in its early stages. He understands that time is not a limitation, it is a gift. So too is God with you. He sees what you can't yet see. He doesn't rush or give up, even when you feel stuck in silence and waiting. He knows that your story is still being written. As the years pass, the wine matures. What was bitterness becomes balance. What was roughness turns into sophistication. Each day in the barrel adds layers of flavor and aroma, making the wine unique, precious, irreplaceable. Time does not destroy, it builds. In life, maturity also brings a depth that youth, no matter how vibrant, cannot reach. It is time that teaches you to appreciate life with a softer gaze, granting you the wisdom to understand that even difficult moments have their purpose. But the time in the barrel is not passive. It is active and intentional. Just as the wine must interact with the wood to gain its character, you also need to embrace the challenges and experiences that time brings. Patience is not just waiting, it is growing in the midst of the wait. It is trusting that each day, even the seemingly insignificant ones, is contributing to something greater. And then after years the barrel is opened. The wine that emerges is no longer the must that was poured in at the beginning. It is something entirely new, a living proof that time not only passed, but worked in favor of its transformation. It carries not only the flavors of the grape, but also the marks of the barrel, the touch of the winemaker, and the signature of time. It is more valuable now because it waited, because it went through the process without rushing its end. You too are in this invisible barrel of life. You may feel that the days are long and the results slow. But trust that something is happening even if you can't see it. Time is not your enemy, it is your ally. Just like aged wine, you are becoming something rare and precious. Your maturity will bring a depth that will touch the lives of others, just as wine brings joy and fellowship to the tables where it is served. Remember, there is no shortcut to maturity. Just as wine cannot be rushed without losing its value, life also requires you to accept the divine rhythm. Time is not a test of patience, it is a test of trust. And when the right moment comes, you will be like that rare wine that is opened on special occasions, bringing not only flavor but the story of your journey, the beauty of all you've endured, and the glory of all you have become. The room is illuminated by a golden light that streams through the windows, reflecting off the crystal glasses carefully placed on the table. Every seat is occupied, and voices intertwine in laughter and animated conversation. In the center of it all rests a bottle of wine. It's no ordinary wine, it's the wine. The one that years ago began its journey as a bitter, untamed must, now here, ready to fulfill its final purpose. You sense that something special is about to happen. The host lifts the bottle with care as if holding something sacred. The cork is removed with a soft sound, and the aroma that escapes carries a promise. All eyes are on the wine as it's poured into each glass, a ruby flow that seems to shine with life of its own. The moment is solemn, almost spiritual. It's not just a drink, it's a liquid story. And you know that this story has everything to do with you. You think of Jesus at the wedding in Cana. The wine had run out, and the celebration was about to be marred by shame. But it was there, in the moment of need, that Jesus performed his first miracle. He turned water into wine. Not just any wine, but the best, served last, against all expectations. It was a symbol of redemption, of abundant grace, of how God saves the best for the right moment. Just like that wine, your life also carries a special purpose, reserved for a moment that will bring impact and joy to others. As the wine is passed around, people taste it and something magical happens. The flavor is deep, rich, indescribable. It doesn't just please the palate, it touches something deeper, evoking memories, emotions, and the certainty that they are sharing something rare. The conversation shifts tone. Now there's silence and contemplation, a pause to savor the present before them. The wine silently fulfills its purpose. It unites, it connects, it delights. And you realize, the purpose of your journey is far greater than you ever imagined. Everything you've been through, the scorching heat of the sun, the storms, the crushing in the press, the silence of aging in the barrel, has led to this moment. Your life, like this wine, is not just about you. It's about the impact you have on others. It's about how your struggles and triumphs can feed, inspire, and transform those around you. The host proposes a toast, lifting his glass. He speaks with gratitude, recalling the moments that brought everyone here. The mention of the wine is inevitable. He tells its origin, its story, the care given to its process. You listen to the words and feel something deep in your chest. This wine is more than a product. It is a testament to patience, faith, and intentional work. It is proof that nothing, absolutely nothing, has been in vain. You remember each moment of the journey. The tiny seed planted in the soil, full of invisible promises. The seasons that tested the vine, hardening it against the winds and storms. The crushing weight that seemed destructive but revealed its sweetest essence. The time in the barrel when everything seemed still but in truth, something wonderful was happening. And now here is the result. A wine that not only exists but transforms. A wine that fulfills its purpose in every sip, in every smile it provokes. You reflect on your own life. Maybe you're still in one of the earlier stages, being planted, facing the seasons, or even being crushed. Maybe you're waiting in silence, in the dark, feeling like nothing is happening. But the wine proves something powerful. The purpose always arrives. Always. And when it does, it's not just for you. It's for everyone who will have the joy of sharing in the fruit of your journey. The toast is made and the glasses clink. You hear the laughter and see the smiles around the table. There's something sacred in this moment. Communion, connection, celebration, all made possible because the wine fulfilled its purpose. And you deeply understand that your life can be like this too. When you embrace the process, when you accept the time and trust the greater purpose, you become like this wine, a source of joy, communion, and victory for those who cross your path. The wine is served again and the celebration continues. But for you, something has changed. You now see your journey with new eyes. No matter where you are in the process, you know that the best is yet to come. And when the time comes for you to raise your own glass, when your life reaches its full purpose, you will be like this wine, a living symbol of everything that is beautiful, deep, and true. In the end, you understand that the true impact of a life with purpose is not just in its own fulfillment, but in how it touches others. Just like the wine, you are here to bring joy, healing, and communion. And that, you realize, is the greatest gift you could offer to the world. Thank you so much for joining us on this exciting journey of reflection and purpose. I hope this story has touched your heart and inspired you to see your own path in a new way. Just like wine becomes precious over time, your life is also full of potential and purpose, waiting to impact the world around you. If you enjoyed this message, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and of course, leave your comment below. I'd love to know how this story resonated with you. Your participation is what keeps this community alive and vibrant. Until next time, and remember, your journey is unique and valuable. Never underestimate the impact you can have on the world. Red Heart Sparkles.